Good evening, Vikings, and welcome to tonight's contest between your Niles North Vikings and the Niles West Wolves in the CROSSTOWN Classic. My name is Anthony Bramley, and we have got quite the game for you. Let's take a look at the Niles North Vikings. Right now, they sit at 9-7-2 against some pretty competitive teams. Recently, they've been on a stride, though, and the last game that we streamed was their senior night against Maine East, taking it 8-0. 4 goals by Addison Lockerbie and varied senior goals as well. They also won on Saturday, I believe, against Ridgewood, also 8-0. So this is a very dominant Viking team that we have here this season. As for the Wolves of Niles West, they sit at 9-6, and they are third place in the CSL South, or CSL North. My apologies. They are coming off of a 10-0 win against the Maine West Warriors, and they are definitely going to be looking to continue that momentum. Right now, we will be meeting our teams, so let's head over to PA announcer Gary Butler. And, we actually have a little bit more time before we meet these players. So in the meantime, let's talk about the rest of the season for Niles North. They obviously have tonight's game against West. And then on the 3rd, which is Friday, they'll be playing against Highland Park, the Giants. And then they'll have their last regular season game at Resurrection Prep against the Bandits, I believe. So definitely got a couple more competitors to get through before their, I just say state series berth. But this is not an impossible schedule. Let's take a look at Highland Park. Highland Park sitting at, for this season, 9-8, a pretty balanced team. Their last game was a win against the Maine East Blue Devils, 9-2. So, again, they'll definitely be competitive on the offensive front. As for the future for the Niles West Wolves, they have 4 more games after this one. They play against the Loyola Academy Ramblers May 4th, then on May 7th against the Zion Benton ZBs. On the 9th, they got St. Viator, and their last regular season game is against the Taft Eagles. We will now be meeting the rosters for the Vikings and the Wolves.
Good evening, and welcome to Niles North High School, home of the Vikings. For tonight's game between the Niles West Wolves and your Niles North Vikings. We're going to start off with the starting lineups. First, for the Wolves, number 1, Michaela Saunders. Number 2, Kira Olezak. Number 5, Linnea Appelkiss. Number 9, Allison Thannert. Number 11, Claire Georges. Number 16, Sophia Holtzman. Number 18, Sylvia Guerrero. Number 19, Emily Kispy. Number 20, Malia Johnson. Number 21, Nora Graham. And number 23, Isabella Roby. And head coach for the Wolves, Stephen Villamel. Assistant coach, Bill Cobbleman. Assistant Coach Marcel. And now, the starting lineup for your Niles North Vikings. At goalkeeper, Ashley Mancera. Number 2, Celeste Manzanares. Number 11, Oriana Humala. Number 13, Layla Hulich. Number 14, Lauren Saifu. Number 15, Addison Lockerbie. Number 16, Leah Jackson. Number 19, Gabrielle Saunders. Number 20, Giselle Slack. Number 40, Brianna Tatar. And number 79, Mariah Edie. The head coach for the Vikings, Filip Gijovic. Assisted by Ivan Milicevic and Andrew. Fans, if you're willing and able, please stand for the playing of our national anthem.
And now the Vikings and the Wolves will meet each other on the pitch as we prepare for an incredible game coming up in the next 5 minutes. See you then. Both teams now back on the pitch and ready to compete. It's going to be Vikings with control of the ball to start. And it's Brianna Tatar to start us off. Kicks it back to number 11, Oriana Yamara. Kicks it to the outside. Looks like Mariah Edie. To Gabby Sanders. Going to be taken out of bound. And Edie is going to inbound. Goes long to Tatar. And it's taken by the Wolves, their first possession of this match. Down the pitch now and stopped by Edie, taken out of bounds. Wolves now in control at midfield, under pressure from Lockerbie. They are going to take it back. And knocked out by the Wolf. That was number 21, Nora Graham. Edie with the inbound to Tatar. And Yumara bringing it down. Got a Viking, but a Wolf intercepts it. Vikings do retain possession. Looks like Slag on the far side. Does she get it through? Vikings retain possession. However, Wolves knock it out. Going to be a Viking inbound. Taking it, number 19, Gabrielle Sanders. They actually move it down the field. Going to be Edie taking it. Popped up by Tatar. And the Wolves and Vikings juggle with it a bit before Vikings try to knock it out. Instead, here's 20, Malia Johnson of the Vikings, bringing it down to Isabella Brabi. And Brabi's going to knock into number 2, Celeste Manzanares of the Vikings. She'll inbound. Kicked long and knocked out by the Wolf. Wolves knock it out. It's going to be a Viking on the inbound. They are going to have to adjust the spot, though, as the Vikings set up. Contested territory, but number 14, Lauren Saifu, tries to knock it back to a Viking. Does go out of bounds, and the Wolves will inbound. Header gives it to the Vikings. And it looks like Yamara knocks it back to number 79, Edie. Layla Vulic with some moves, and she gets the ball back. Knocks it to 15, Lockerbie, with some great defense from the number 2, Kira Olenicek. And Wolves, bit of a miscommunication, but it looks like Malia Johnson is going to keep it. Gets it to 16, Sophia Holtzman. Now looking for the play. Sends it down to 21, Nora Graham. But it is stopped by Layla Vulic. Vulic sets the spot and is looking for a play here. Long down the pitch, gets it to Tatar, but the Wolves take it. Sanders is in the way, though, and can she get it back? Knocks it out from Graham of the Wolves. But here's Graham now, defended by Edie, and crosses it over to number 5, Linnea Applequist. And shot on goal is stopped by number 2, or goalkeeper, Ashley Moncera. Wolves are going to inbound. And brought in. Here's a Viking, though. Tries to kick it to Tatar. But the Wolves put in a lot of effort to keep the ball in their possession. There's 11 Claire Georges now. Making some moves against Yamara. And it gets knocked out. Looks like it was last by a Viking, though. There's Georges on the inbound pass. Ball goes out of bounds. Looked like it was off of a Viking. And it's going to be number 11, Claire Georges, with a corner kick. This could be the first big offensive move of the game here, 6 minutes in. Box is crowded, but kick goes long, and great speed by both players, but the ball does roll out. Inbounded now by Viking. Sent now to Sanders. And Yamara is stopped, though, by Applequist. Or Georges, my apology. And a collision here on the pitch. Wolves keep trying to make the move, though, but the Vikings take it. Great speed on Giselle Slag. Trying to get it out, but now it is in the Wolves' half of the field. It rolls out of bounds. And it's going to be a Wolf taking it in. Goes along, and Edie puts the pressure. She is tripped, though. And Vikings get the possession. Here is Layla Vulik, the senior, sending the ball. Gets a feel of the wind before going in for the kick and takes it down far. Wolf heads it, and Edie heads it back. Wolves now with the ball, number 11, Claire Georges. Gets it down to Graham, but Lockerby's in the way. The Vikings are going to keep it. That was number 16, Leah Jackson. Wolves now with the ball. But great pressure by Giselle Slag on the far side of the pitch. She knocks it out of bounds and forces the game to slow. Wolves now in motion. And looks like Slag kept it in. Vikings with the ball. There's Yamara passing into the Wolf. That was number 16, Sophia Holtzman. They're now taking it down, but stopped by Vulik. Sanders trying to pick at it, but Georges has the footwork. There's Jackson trying to feed Slag, but goes long. Kept in, though, by Lockerby. Edie hesitant on the defense. It could cost her, but Vulik uses her back, uses the full body to block the shot. Vikings now with the ball in midfield. Tries to swipe at it, but Tatar misses, and now the Wolves have it. Just kidding. There's Saifu. She takes it down. And Addison Lockerbie put in all effort possible, and it is stopped by the keeper, Michaela Saunders. Another shot attempt is deflected by the Wolves, and we are now 10 minutes in. We are seeing some competitive play. Normally by now we'd have the Vikings up 1 or 2 goals, but Wolves have been keeping them at bay, so this is very impressive to see from both sides. Vikings going to set up on the corner now. Getting the set piece going as a substitution. Looks like Yumara comes out for the Vikings. Addie Lockerbie brings it in over to Saifu, who chips it up. Goes a little bit long. And Wolves are going to get in there, make them work for it a bit more. Jackson to Vulik. Vulik now with the ball. And some big moves there. It is going to be Wolves' possession, and Jackson keeps it from going further down. Got a 1v2 here right now. Jackson tries to get it away, but looks like the number 7, Anna Papageorge of the Wolves, is going to kick it out. There's Edie on the inbound. Header by Tatar. Lockerbie's going to take it down. She's got speed. She's going to give it to Sanders on the outside. She's knocked down. George is of the Wolves now. Bring it down. Sanders knocks it out, though, and that is clean. Edie now to number 23 for the Vikings, Greasy Boutros. There's Saifu now on the far end to Slag. Back to Saifu. It is going to be the Wolves in the way, but Giselle Slag fights for that ball every time. She tries to put it into the box, but it is out of bounds. Looking at a goal kick here from Michaela Saunders of the Wolves. Takes it down about 30 yards, and it is out of bounds. Ball's in play. Vikings with possession. But the Wolves getting in the way again. A clean slide tackle. Knocks it out of bounds, though. Ball back in play. And there is number 14, Lauren Saifu of the Vikings, dribbling it. However, Wolves have possession now under competition from Gabby Sanders, and it goes out of bounds. Whistle blown, telling him to move the spot as Claire Georges tries to bring it in. Comes through now and goes long to the number 16, Sophia Holtzman. Got a Wolf on the ground, but they keep possession. There's Holtzman now bringing it down over to Anna Papageorge. She's down the pitch now. Slows herself down to avoid the offside call, and there's Vulik. Clearing the ball, gets it to midfield. There's Lockerbie. Wolves backtracking. There's, again, Georges. And bring a 1-2 back down. Great pressure there from Brianna Tatar. And bring it back to the goalie. Going to get cleared out to the 20-yard line where Kira Olenizek sits. Brought down now to 23, Isabella Brabi. And you got Wolf in the midfield. She is stopped by Boutros of the Vikings. Gets it to Sanders. And now the Vikings are going to take it back down. Papageorge inserts herself and gives it to the Wolves. It's headed out by Boutros. George's inbounds to Holtzman and back. And tries to get it back to Holtzman, but now the Vikings have it. There's Saifu. Brings it long, feeding the Viking on the far side, there's Slag. And there's Addison Lockerbie. Gets sandwiched between the two Wolves. Comes back up okay. Glad to see Vikings have trusted Lockerbie as one of their top scorers this season. I think she's coming up on around at least 20 goals on the season. So great job to her. She's committed to the Virginia Tech Hokies. And keep in mind, she's only a junior. So when we talk about the future of this program, Lockerbie is going to be a big part of it. Here's Vulik now looking to kick it out, get an offensive play going. She kicks it, and it's a shot on goal. Stopped, though, by Michaela Saunders. She'll clear it now into the midfield, but Celeste Manzanares is in the way. There's Boutros to Leah Jackson, and Holtzman of the Wolves is going to take it down all by herself, too. She's going to try to make the shot. It is stopped by Ashley Mancera of the Vikings. Great job on the save. 24 minutes remain in the first half. She'll kick it down, gets it to Slag, but chests it the wrong way. And a fight with it against Brabi of the Wolves. Vikings do win it, though. There's Slag again. She'll take it in and back to Jackson. Back to Giselle Slag, and now down the pitch to Lockerbie. Kick down yet again, and it's an offsides violation on the Vikings' number 40, Brianna Tatar. Offensive motion is stopped. Wolves are going to set the ball up now. Call from the coaches there of the Wolves. That is, of course, Stephen Villamil, Bill Papianu, and Paul Zub of the Wolves. There's Edie now. Tries to get it to Boutros, but stopped by, I believe that was number 19, Emily Kisby. There she is now. Gets it to Brabi. And Malia Johnson takes a big hit from the Viking. It'll be Holtzman taking a kick here where the official stands. And speaking of officials, the application window to become an IHSA official opened today, May 1st. So if you are looking to stay involved in your community, stay active, and earn a little bit of money while you're at it, please check out ihsa.org. You got to be 17 or older to apply. If you're 15 or 16, though, you can become a provisional official with the IHSA. Let you work 9th grade events and lower while still making money. Great opportunities that you can check out online at ihsa.org. In the middle of that, we saw a great save from Ashley Mancera of the Vikings. Now the Vikings have it pretty far down. There's Lockerbie on the far side and popped. Oh, thought that was popped out, but Lockerbie keeps it in. Great effort. Shot on goal stopped by Michaela Saunders. Good punt, gets it down halfway the pitch. And there's Edie making a run for it. She's got to watch out for Holtzman on the blind side. She'll kick it out, and now be an inbound kick from the Wolves. There is a bit of conversation to be had between the officials right now, though, as we have 21 minutes remaining in the half. We're going to stop the clock here as looks like some substitutions are made. And we've got an IHSA official talking to our coaches right now. Of course, Filip Sajovic, Ivan Milicevic, and Andrew Park. Doing a great job with this program. Play will resume. Wolves inbound it, and there's Edie trying to take it out. And now Nora Graham of the Wolves gets an in. It is going to be, looks like a handball. Layla Vulik going to take it out now for the Vikings. Goes pretty long, and there's Lockerbie trying to get it. Set to Tar, grabs it, and another call here by the official. After the Wolves tried to juke him out, gets taken. Wolves now being chased back onto their side of the pitch. And Tatar fighting for it. Great effort as number 5, Linnea Applequist of the Wolves feeds it now to 11. And she's going far. That's Claire Georges. And unsuccessful against the double team. She will get to set the play here now. Applequist back to Georges in the corner. Chipped into the box and goes long. Will it roll out of bounds? It will off of the hit from Isabella Brabi of the Wolves. Inbounding now for the Vikings. Number 2, Celeste Manzanares. Vikings have it now. That was Leah Jackson to Boutros. But now Vikings in trouble. There's Georges making moves on the ball. Kicks it long, and Vulik going to take it down the side now. Gets it to Yamara, and Boutros gets picked. There's Yamara again on the side, and now there's Georges. Tries to get the ball back from the number 16, Holtzman, but is unsuccessful. Number 79, Edie of the Vikings, throws it in to Applequist of the Wolves. Moves from Georges now. And tries to get it in, and comes off of a Viking, now out of bounds. We're looking at a corner kick here now from 11, Claire Georges. Goes long again, but the Wolves keep the ball. There's Brabi on the far side, kicking it in and headed by Vulik back out to the Wolves. Yeah, a couple of Vikings there trying to keep it away. Goes out of bounds. Viking gets tripped up as Applequist tries to chip it in, goes out of bounds. Goes long now. Wolves have possession. I believe that is Applequist on the far side. But Leah Jackson kicks it out to Yamara. And now oh my goodness, Addison Lockerbie. Great velocity from her. Tries to kick it in and go. Addison Lockerbie with yet another And Lockerbie always making big moves here for the Vikings. Tonight is going to be no different. Yet another one of her goals this season. And she is making, quite the difference on this Viking team. You can see why she was picked out by the Hokies. Clock will be set to 16-14. And play is on Wolves. Try to take it long. There's Boutros trying to head it, but goes too far. Edie's behind her. It is stopped by the Wolves. There's the number 19, Emily Kispy. But there's Boutros now to Jackson. To Lockerbie, she gets tripped up, though, by the Wolf and feeds Georges. It's stopped now by Vulik. Brings it long and popped by the Wolf. Looks like it's number 9, Allison Tannert. Here's Kira Olenizek on the ball at the 45-yard line. Looking to set up a play. You can see number 19, Emily Kispy, looking excited for it. It does go long, and Lauren Seifu takes it to the face, deflects to the Wolves, and now there's Kispy in control. Lockerbie tries to stop her, but she's able to get it down to Sophia Holtzman. She'll keep possession despite great effort, great defensive effort, rather, from Giselle Slag on the far side of the pitch. Tatar great on defense, making the Wolves work for it, and popped up by Jackson. Tatar keeps it from going out of bounds. There's Lockerbie heading it down pitch. And Lockerbie on the ground. She fixes her pads and gets right back up. Great endurance. Here's Olenizek. Now brings it down. Fortunately for her, to the Vikings. There's Tatar. Rolls back, and Holtzman tries to bring it down. Deflected off of Jackson's foot. And clearing it, Celeste Manzanares. Wolves will throw it in. Looks like 16, Sophia Holtzman. Ball goes down, and Lockerbie wants to get the speed in. She makes a fast move for it and runs right into Holtzman of the Wolves. Clock is stopped. We'll resume. Wait. Now the clock will resume at 13:20. Keeper brings it down to Olenizek. Getting a lot more touches after the Lockerbie goal. Vulik kicks it back out. There's Tatar. It's an offsides call, though, I think. Going to be the Wolves with possession. Olenizek will take it down now. Headed by Leah Jackson to Lockerbie in midfield. And she's got to fight against 4 Wolves for it. Brings it down to number 11, Oriana Yamara. She's now on the defensive side of the ball, and it clears her. Does get to Boutros for the Vikings, though. And Saifu now feeding Slag on the far side. She will lose it to Olenizek, though. Brings it to Tatar now. And it looks like Tatar could have had a pretty amazing attempt if not for all the Wolves piling around her. There's Saunders, the goalkeeper, into the head of Lauren Saifu. Boutros and then Jackson will bring it down to Slag. But some great defense from Georges there, from the Wolves. He's going to put the ball in more contention. Slag again on the far side to Saifu. Now back to Jackson, and Edie is going to take it. Applequist and Kisby. Bring it back down to Georges. She'll feed Holtzman, who's looking for an attempt here. It is stopped by Vulik. And she trips, sending it to a corner kick, I believe. Or no, it'll be regular inbound pass from Holtzman. And Brabi, that's number 23 for the Wolves, almost gets an attempt. It is going to be stopped by many Vikings surrounding her. Now with the ball, goalkeeper Montserrat takes it pretty high. And Boutros is on defense against number 7, Anna Papa George. Jackson tries to clear it, gets it to Tar, and faces some collision. Lockerbie not taking it down. Oh, there's Lockerbie. And though she's fed, ball's a little bit too fast, goes out of bounds off of a Wolf. Ten minutes now remain in the first half of this incredible contest between the Vikings and the Wolves. Vikings up 1-0. That goal by Lockerbie about 6 minutes ago. Goes into the box, and it's stopped by Michaela Saunders. Ball is going long again. There's Jackson retrieving it, and headed by Tatar to Lockerbie. Collision with Kira Alenizek. And Lockerbie unhappy with the result of that. Going to be Wolf possession. Alenizek send the ball up, takes it down the side to number 11, Georges. Jackson to Saifu, and now Lockerbie again. And another call. Fans and Lockerbie certainly aren't happy with it, but refs are going to keep the game clean as number 11, Claire Georges, sets up the ball. She takes it long, tries to find the number 16, Holtzman, but instead it gets headed out by Vulik. Jackson now brings it to a Wolf, and no handball called despite the apparent bump off of the forearm. Gets knocked out of bounds off of Addison Lockerbie. And a big fight for it between Jackson. It does go long. Lockerbie speeding up and breaks through. Oh! Gets tripped by the full body of Michaela Saunders. And some controversy now, but ball is going to be set up here. And clock correction for us stopped at 7:42. And it looks like a Viking has the ball. Not quite sure what's going on. Time will be reset to 7:42. Brianna Tatar are going to come out now for the Vikings. As will Georges from the Wolves during the stoppage time. Or just kidding, there's Tatar coming out now again. Looks like it's trying to reset a little bit here. And the goalkeeper for the Wolves is coming out. Michaela Saunders out of the game. You know, we saw that red card. Looks like it was against her. We've got a new keeper coming in now. Can't identify the number at this point, but she is going to have some big pressure here. Number 14, Lawrence Saifu, will take this kick. New keeper getting ready to take a shot. Saifu winds up for the kick. And go for the Vikings. That's number 14, Lawrence Saifu, taking the kick against the backup keeper of the Wolves. And what a way to score a goal after all that waiting time. You know, the tensions are high. You know, obviously the new keeper not anticipating being in that scenario as Michaela Saunders comes back in for the Wolves. But just an incredible turn of events leading to another Viking goal. They're now up 2-0, 7:42 remaining in the half. Wolves with possession here. There's Applequist, takes it on the close side to Nora Graham, and then number 18, Sylvia Guerrero. Some slick moves there from the Wolves trying to bring it further down, but it's stopped by a Viking. There's Boutros chasing it in midfield as the Wolves trying to take it down. That's Holtzman. Stopped by Edie, and now headed by Graham. There's Yamara to Boutros under some great defense between, you know, Sophia Holtzman and Applequist of the Wolves. Lockerbie takes it on the far side, making a quick cut, and ball's reset. She chips it over to Yamara, and it's an offsides violation. Vikings have been struggling with this call for a lot of the first half. This is something that we haven't really seen from them so much this season. Michaela Saunders sent up the ball. That's the keeper for the Wolves. Guerrero down to Holtzman. And they're taking it slow as we start to enter the final 6 minutes of this half. She'll kick it long. And there's Brabi. It is an offsides violation. Would not have mattered as Ashley Mancera makes the catch. Vulik will set up now. misses both players at midfield, but Kispy gets it now to number 2, Kira Lenizek. Lockerbie playing some fierce defense, goes out of bounds. And Vikings will inbound. Goes along the sideline, rolls out of bounds, and now Wolves will have possession. Inbounded now to Kispy. And Vikings knock it out yet again, slowing any effort that the Wolves try to make toward this goal. Jackson with a great defensive move, forcing the Wolves back at some. And Tatar getting in there as well. Wolves try to break out. But we've got some great defense here from the Vikings. That's Giselle Slag knocking it out of bounds. Popped up by Applequist. There's Boutros again trying to force it to the side where Giselle Slag can't make the stop. Big kick into the goal, about 25 yards out from the Wolves, but it's stopped by Ashley Mancera. Kicked up again, forced to that far sideline. Lockerbie with control now. She slows it down, tries to come around, but it is stopped by the number 7, Papa George. Nora Graham along the sideline now. Gets it to Holtzman through the legs of Leah Jackson. And now the Vikings could be in trouble. Breaks past Edie. And the 2 players are on the ground. Corner kick will be set up now for the Wolves taking. Looks like it'll be Sophia Holtzman. My apologies. It's number 11, Claire Georges, taking the corner kick for the Wolves as we enter into the final 3 minutes of the first half. Chipped up by a Wolf, almost gets it through the uprights. And, you know, speaking of football, Niles North is proud to pilot a girls flag football program for next school year. The IHSA is finally sanctioning the activity, and the Vikings will have the chance to put their talents onto the field this fall. So if you are a female athlete at Niles North High School, please reach out to Athletic Director Brett Bilstein if you are interested. 2:20 now on the clock. Goes long and will go out of bounds. No, stopped by Wolf on the far side. Now goes out of bounds. Will be taken in by Celeste Manzanares. Headed by Brabi. And out of bounds yet again. Brings it along the line, headed by a Viking, and almost taken down by Saifu. It is stopped by the Wolves, and now Georges is in control against Gracie Boutros. Makes the cut behind herself and almost gets through to Applequist. Now back to Georges. Goes for the goal. There's Vulik and then Edie making the stop. Kispy also trying to get in. And Georges almost breaking through, deflected. Almost goes out of bounds, but Malaya Jackson, or Johnson rather, is there. Graham back to Johnson now. And Tatar deflects it into the Wolves, into Saifu, into Boutros, who was facing some tough defense from Applequist of Niles West. Kira Lenizek, my apologies, now in control. Shot on goal is stopped by Ashley Mancera. She clears it as we enter the final 20 seconds of this half. Lockerbie looking to make one final move. Gets it past the Wolves defender. Puts it through and is stopped by Michaela Saunders. Final 5 seconds now of the half. When Sarah knocks it out to midfield, and Jackson as time expires. And what a first half between these teams. We were not expecting the Wolves to come out, so strong against a really competitive, a really tough Viking team. Vikings would normally have a lot more goals by now, but now facing some difficulty against the Niles West defense. A couple of standout players, of course. Addison Lockerbie always making a big difference on the pitch for the Vikings. Also see Giselle Slag on that far sideline. Very speedy. Acceleration is insane. And, she's always committing herself to the defense and trying to feed her fellow Vikings. As for the Wolves, definitely seeing Clara Georges emerging as a leader for this Wolves team. Setting up the plays, trying to take it down the field. And, getting some good looks for the Wolves despite the great Viking defense. As well as Ashley Mancera. She's been a consistent goalie for the Vikings this entire half. She's got to keep it up as we enter the second half. Now, one effect of the Vikings facing a much tougher defense this game is that their stamina, might be down a little bit as they enter the second. Usually the Vikings don't have to worry about scoring in that second half, but because they've been running up and down pitch so much change in direction, they could be really tired out and could leave some open chances for the Wolves to score. However, you'll have to stay tuned in 10 minutes as we continue our coverage of the Niles North versus Niles West Girls Soccer Crosstown Classic. See you in a bit. And we are back at the halftime of the Crosstown Classic between your Niles North Vikings and the Niles West Wolves. Just a bit of a recap before we get into it. Of course, we have about 1 minute until play resumes. But in the meantime, let's talk about that first half. An impressive showing against a tough defense coming over from Niles West. Score right now is Vikings with 2, Wolves with 0. That first goal coming from Addison Lockerbie, as you might have expected based on, of course, her commitment to the Hokies and her play throughout the season. She breaks away from a Wolves defender and gets a shot to go in from pretty far out. I want to say at least 20 yards, maybe a bit closer. And then, of course, had a bit of controversy between Lockerbie and the goalkeeper. That is, of course, Michaela Saunders of Niles West. That led to a free kick, which was taken by Lauren Saifu, that's number 14 for the Vikings, which goes in against a backup keeper. Both teams coming out of their huddles now, and we have 40 more fantastic minutes of action for you coming up. Definitely going to be a tough fight. As I had mentioned before the halftime break, the Vikings are used to being up a lot more by halftime. And, the Wolves forced them to go up and down the field. That's going to leave them a bit tired, less stamina than usual. And we could see the Wolves get a couple of goals here just because of, tiredness out of the Vikings. I believe in our conditioning programs headed by Jordan DeGeorge here at Niles North. But it's a tough environment. It was warmer out, now cooling down a little bit, but that's going to impact your breathing as you're going up and down the field. Both teams reapproaching the pitch now. And we have got some great soccer coming up for you this second half. Wolves will have possession to start. It's like that's number 16, Sophia Holtzman. She'll chop it up with the official here before we get started. Both teams getting set, and the official will walk away. I believe we will be starting here soon. Official will signal to the booth, and play will resume. A new, fresh 40 minutes here for these teams, and already the Wolves are off to a hot start. There's Kira Olenizek taken out of bounds. Down the pitch and popped by Leah Jackson. And now Holtzman is going to break away, defended by Jackson. Tries to kick it toward the box, and it is picked up by Ashley Monsera. Gets kicked pretty high into Brabi now for the Wolves. The close side. She'll take it down against Giselle Slag. Pops it in, and Vulik is always there. Great backfield defender. There's Sitar dominating against Olenizek. And now Lockerbie breaking away. No defender. She's got to watch out behind her for Nora Graham. And an incredible stop by the keeper, Michaela Sanders. Both players on the ground. And Lockerbie will get up. Clock is stopped at 38:51. Looks like the Vikings will get to set up a set piece here. And that's not the first collision Lockerbie and this keeper have had. That, of course, led to the second goal from the Vikings just earlier. Lockerbie setting up the play. Got a lot of Vikings on the far side and picked up immediately by Saunders. She wants none of that. She'll punt it down, goes flat, and into number 16, that's Holtzman for the Wolves. Passing down now to Papa George. And stopped again by Vulik. Jackson will continue it into Gracie Boutros. And Vulik again. Wolves will steal it. Bringing it toward the corner. Pitched in and stopped by Montserrat. And Montserrat's been consistent all night, getting these great stops at goal. She is one of the best goalkeepers in the CSL this season. And obviously she's continuing her great play today. Rolls out of bounds on the far sideline. We'll get the Wolves popping it in. And Vikings in control. However, it looks like Applequist making some big moves. She gets knocked out. Oh my goodness, popped in the head. And, you know, it's times like these where you gotta shout out your athletic trainers. Here at Niles North, we have 3 fantastic athletic trainers in Don Palmer, Dennis Makis, and Joseph Paiwal. They have been fantastic in supporting our athletics programs, making sure our student athletes are safe, and of course, keeping our games going. Again, big shout out to the trainers here at Niles North. Play is resuming now. Vikings will inbound, but the Wolves have control. And oh my goodness, Holtzman taking it down with incredible speed. Kicks it inside, and oh my goodness, Montserrat almost losing it. Great job by the Vikings backfield and, you know, keeping that ball safe. Slag now with the ball. Fortunately, kicks into Emily Kispy. It is going to be knocked out of bounds here and inbounded by number 2, Kira Lenajek. Boutros and Holtzman fighting for that ball. The Wolves will take it further down the pitch now. That was Allison Tannert. Ball does get knocked out of bounds. Lockerbie not going to take it. Instead of taking it will be number 2 for the Vikings, Celeste Manzanares. Oh, gets stopped by the Wolves, but there's Leah Jackson. Back to Manzanares. And unfortunately, back to Malia Johnson. She's been a standout player for this Wolves squad, making some big moves when they matter most. Here's Slag now, taking it down the sideline, and is going to feed Lockerbie. Turn the Jets on. Cuts back and finds Slag behind her. Makes a big move. Gets Lockerbie again. Back to Slag and gets wiped out. It's going to be no call. Wolves will continue. There's Holtzman at midfield. Leah Jackson wants to get on it. And going to be out of bounds, cleared. And there we go. Looks like there was a debate between who was going to be inbounding it between Vikings and the Wolves. It is going to be Viking inbound. They're going to keep possession. Lockerbie making a run for it. She's got an open field. She kicks in and makes it a little bit too easy for keeper Saunders of the Wolves. Play will be reset now as she takes it long. Gracie Boutros back to Slag. She's up against Brabi. Manzanares trying to clear it, but gets to another Wolf. It is going to be Mariah Eady, though, clearing it to Boutros, and then the Viking on the far side. Wolves get a quick stint with it before Tatar now chasing it. Oh, my goodness. And rolls out of bounds in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Vikings setting up in the corner. And a little trick move there. A little 1-2 now. And beautiful kick, just way too high. Going to be Wolves' goal kick. Michaela Saunders sets the play and tries to get to number 19, Kispy. Instead goes long, and Malia Johnson cannot recover. We're going to get Celeste Manzanares with the throw-in for the Vikings, it looks like. Official send the spot and goes into Tatar. We're going to get a new call here, though. There's Layla Vulik now going to set up the ball. He's got a lot of Vikings out. Vulik winds up. And... ooh, dangerous kick out by the Wolves. It's going to roll out. And corner, I believe. Corner kick now. Time is stopped at 32:15 as the Viking approaches the corner. It's going to be number 15, Addie Lockerbie. Ball is live, goes into a contested goalie box, and Vikings trying to make some moves here. Gets cleared by a Wolf. It's going to be Leah Jackson finishing the job, though. Goes out of bounds and will be inbound by Nora Graham of the Wolves. Collision along the sideline. It's going to be Wolves' possession now. Chipped up. And Leah Jackson always there to bring it back the other way. However, here's number 2, Alenijek of the Wolves under deep pressure from Addison Lockerbie. Ball will be knocked back, but stolen by the Wolf. Luckily, yet again, Layla Vulik is there, pops it up, and resets the play. Giselle Slag, some great, fierce defense on the outside, forces the pass to Gracie Boutros, but not before a call. It'll be Sophia Holtzman clearing the ball, gets it along, and it's a scoring territory. Allison Tanner clears it. And inbounding now will be number 2, Celeste Manzanares. Alenijek gets in the way. Now Wolves in better position. However, good to Mariah Edie for clearing it. There's Gabby Sanders trying to fight for it against, looks like 3 Wolves on the far side. And cleared out by Edie. Goes out of bounds. Was thrown in by the Wolf, but will be reset. We're now done with the first 10 minutes of the first half. And while they haven't been necessarily scoring productive for either side, definitely have seen a lot of movement, seen a lot of great plays from both sides. It's just very even matchup here, and it's making it hard on both teams to actually get it through the net. There is Robbie with an attempt, though, picked up by Montserrat. And that cross shot was always going to be a challenge. But Sarah now looking for Vikings to set up a play. Gives it a high ball and taken by the Wolves, number 20, Malia Johnson. Boutros trying to make space in midfield, but stopped by a Wolf and cleared by Lauren Saifu. And we got a breakaway here from Addison Lockerbie. Gets past. Goal! Vikings get another one on, on behalf of Addison Lockerbie. And wow, these Vikings, my goodness, so much energy here tonight at Chuck Post Stadium in the crowd. So much support for the Vikings that I forgot to hit the score up button. Yet another great goal by the Vikings. It'll be number 16, Sophia Holtzman of the Wolves, to start it. Wolves in the backfield. But Alenizek making moves, tries to get it down to Malia Johnson, but stopped by Saifu. She's got some pressure. Looks like Holtzman has strained her calf. And goes out of bounds. We have an injury stoppage. And the Wolf is getting some attention from, again, one of our fantastic athletic trainers. Looks like Dennis Makis from up here. Again, doing a great job to keep our student athletes healthy and in shape. You know, again, in games of endurance like soccer, you know, they are very important, making sure that everyone, you know, stays safe, stays healthy, and is able to continue play. Clock will be stopped at 28:31, and we will take a short break. And Sophia Holtzman, the Wolf, will get back up. She's now on 2 feet. Still struggling to walk, but is being taken by Mr. Makis, one of our athletic trainers. Both teams are conferring in the time being. And again, it's impressive to see a player just come off the field like that, you know, having such a bad injury. We saw her, you know, grab at that calf, and now just being able to walk it off, you know, it's definitely painful, but that shows great grit, you know, so big shout out to Sophia Holtzman of the Wolves for, you know, trying to tough through it. Both teams will reapproach the pitch now 28:31 is the time on the clock, and the time remaining is this intense match. Your Niles North Vikings up 3 to the Wolves 0. We got 2 goals from Madison Lockerbie, 1 from Lawrence Saifu. And play has now resumed. Wolves whiff at it, and now the Vikings taking it down. Brianna Tatar, tries to feed Lockerbie, but is stopped by the Wolf. They're going to take it back now. But not if Lawrence Saifu has anything to say about it. Making great moves, putting great pressure, and forces it out of bounds along that sideline. Wolf on the far side will inbound to number 20, Malia Johnson. Johnson with the ball. And man, that was a big collision between Luciana Bedoya and the Viking there, just by the goalie. Glad that she's okay. It's Montserrat with a kick, again along that sideline. That's where the Vikings can apply the most pressure. Do have a call, though, as Lockerbie makes a motion for the ball. Number 14, Lawrence Saifu, giving it up to Leah Jackson, who will take this ball out. Goes long right up to that line, and Wolves will leave with that ball. Coming along the sideline now, Alenizek. Great pressure yet again from Giselle Slag. She's a senior and has been doing a great job here of, again, applying pressure along the sideline, tiring out these Wolves and giving some looks to her teammates whenever she can. There's Tatar, heads it over to the Wolf, but Saifu's there to stop it. Alenizek now gets Boutros and the Vikings involved. Now Lockerbie was stopped there by number 9, Allison Tanner. There's Edie on the far side to Leah Jackson. Gets through to Saifu, and now Lockerbie making a break for it. She's got to watch out behind her, but cross shot is saved by, oh my goodness, saved by Michaela Saunders. And the rebound, I suppose you would say, does not go through. Chipped too high. Can't tell who that was. I think it might have been Brianna Tatar. Great effort, just a little bit too much sauce on it. And it's Saunders. Deflected by the number 20, Slag, and goes out of bounds on the Wolves. Taking it in, number 2, Celeste Manzanares. And looks like confrontation here. Layla Vulik being made to come up. About 15 minutes in here as the Wolves, Alenizek is stopped by Slag. That's been the matchup all night. Applequist now, though. She's winding up to make the big kick. Goes down about 30, 35 yards. And Wolves will maintain. Knocked out of bounds off of number 20, Johnson. And inbounded by Alenizek. Robbie gets on the ball, and Alenizek taken down. We got a stoppage of the clock and a yellow card on the Viking. Alenizek will take a set piece here, try to get the Wolves in scoring formation. .24:30 on this clock. Alenizek tries to kick it in, goes out of bounds way too fast from Aaliyah Johnson. And goes really far. Feel bad for the ball boy, ball girl who has to run to the far fence and get that one. There's Layla Vulik now going to set up a play. Super consistent in the backfield as she looks to get it far down. It is going to be stopped by number 14 for the Wolves, Luciana Bedoya. However, Vikings now taking control, bring it down the pitch. Little header move, but Wolves are going to knock it back and out of bounds. Lockerbie versus number 9, Allison Tanner. There's, Vikings Yamara. Haven't seen her on the pitch in a while. Already making some big moves out of bounds, but I think she might have gotten it off the leg of the Wolves defender. She did, and so it's going to be Lockerbie taking it here. So we have 23 minutes remaining. Clock is stopped as the officials talk to her real quick. And as she gets set up in the corner. Gets set and into the box goes long and taken out by the Vikings to set up the play. Great save there from Michaela Saunders of the Wolves. She'll kick it out, and that was a fantastic attempt from Saifu, but no match for Saunders, who, except for a couple of issues she's been having with Lockerbie tonight, she's been pretty consistent. There's number 2, Alenizek, on the close sideline. Gets it back to her keeper. Tatar is there trying to apply pressure. Forces it back to Alenizek. Boutros with the handball. Unfortunate as she tries to juggle it into control. Impressive move there by the official to stop the ball as well. Clearing it is number 9, Allison Thanert. Leah Jackson gets it to number 11 for the Vikings, Oriana Yamara. And it does go to Alenizek for the Wolves. Good pressure by Saifu, and no one is there to take that pass. Looks like Bravi was supposed to be on it, but instead it'll be number 2, Celeste Manzanares, with the throw-in. Backside pressure from Addison Lockerbie forces it long. And there's Brabi trying to cross over to a player. Goes too wide. And Vulik will set it up yet again. Applequist tries to stop it, but gets past. And Wolves are going to take it all the way back. That's Angelina Lee. New on the pitch from what I can tell, as the Wolves try to reset it on their side. Gets it to Kispe and taken out by the Viking. There's another Viking falling on the far side as an attempt is made, is picked up by Saunders. Flat kick goes into Leah Jackson, but popped up by the Wolves. Now Applequist gets it down to, looks like number 20, Johnson, and goes out of bounds. It'll be Viking possession here. Little header move by Lockerbie, and she's got 2-3 Wolves on her. She gets tripped by a Wolf on the ground as we enter the final 20 minutes of this pretty competitive match between the Vikings and the Wolves. Wolves will kick it long. Cleared, though, by Saifu. Back to the Wolves. And back into midfield, there's Saifu again, trying to control it. On the far sideline, brought in. And Lockerbie putting great pressure on the Wolves. Brabi now making a run for it. And keeps it in. She's along the sideline now against Manzanares and another Viking. Yeah, that's number 23, Gracie Boutros, applying pressure, bringing the ball back in. Now you've got number 13, Shelly Fuentes. And 2 missed attempts. Wolves really trying to, get in there. They need to. They're starting to run out of time to make big moves like that. And fortunately for them, does not go in. However, they do get a corner, and they get a chance to set a play. Corner kick is taken and headed out by a Viking. However, they have a Wolf. Misses it the first time, but regains control. And kicks it into the goalie, Montserrat. She goes to the far side now. And goes a little bit too long. Wolves have it. Taking it back. And Lockerbie cuts through. Takes the ball. Losing her footing a little bit. And is fighting against a lot of Wolves. She falls to the ground. But she will get up. The endurance and the strength here is incredible. And, these are student athletes. Let's talk about, Addie Lockerbie in the classroom. She is preparing for a big A-Push final exam coming up after school tomorrow. She's been putting the work in, studying for that, which is impressive to balance when you're also one of the star players on this Viking, soccer team. So, again, shout out to all the student athletes out there putting in work on the field and in the classroom. Cleared by the Viking. And there's Yamara to Boutros, taking it back and cleared by Manzanares. And Saifu knocks the ball straight into the face of Elson Tanner. Viking on the floor. Clock paused, and that is Lockerbie. Unfortunate, but she keeps getting up and up. Clock is stopped at 16:28. Vikings will set the play here. winds up and gets through. There's Lockerbie. Oh. Angle on the foot, not tight enough, goes out of bounds. What could have been a fantastic goal and probably would have secured the victory for the Vikings goes out of bounds. Here's Saunders, keeper for the Wolves now, gearing up to kick. 16 minutes remain in the game, and the ball goes. Lockerbie with the ball, gets past the defender. She gets another chance here, crosses, and goal! Yet another completes the hat trick, and the Vikings are now up 4-0. Gets her redemption too. Always a great feeling when you're that player. You know, again, revenge against the keeper like that. Lockerbie, of course, feeling great, as are the rest of her teammates. You know, you only got 16 minutes left in the game. You're up 4. You're not really as worried about the Wolves coming back now. However, the game isn't over until it's over, and if I know anything about the Viking coaching style, Filip Stejovic, Ivan Milicevic, and Andrew Park, you know, they're going to tell their girls, keep on going, you know. You got to keep it up. You can't lose focus. Wolves with the ball. Back in the midfield, got number 25, the Viking. That's Bettina Strumfield. She's new on the pitch tonight. Leah Jackson clears it out and headed strong by number 18 of the Wolves. It's going to be Sylvia Guerrero. Lockerbie trying to break through again and taken out of bounds. Lockerbie grabbing at her leg, but she's going to stay on the pitch here for, it seems like, might be the final 15 minutes. Thrown in, and great pressure there by Ernina Yamara against the number 23, Brabi. Cleared by the keeper right into the center field. And it's going to be Leah Jackson popping it up. Saifu making space with the pass back to Mariah Eady. And now to Jackson up against Brabi. Great pressure. However, no one's on Manzanares as she kicks it down. Bettina tries to get herself in there, but it's no good. And so you got Manzanares and Gracie Boutros in control. There's Saifu now trying to clear it. Stopped by the Wolves. Johnson gets it to, well, Johnson tries to get it to Lenajek, but there is a call. Play will be stopped here at 14:09. And in all the excitement of that goal, we forgot to actually put the goal on the scoreboard here. Clock will resume. That's Lenajek coming out strong for the Wolves. Up against great pressure from, looks like, Stremfield on the far side. Goes out of bounds, though, off of the Viking. Wolves get it to the number 12, Angelina Lee, and the attempt goes out of bounds. We'll now get Layla Vulik making another fantastic kick. She winds up and goes really long. Wolves the Lenajek, though, making a run for it. Cleared by the number 16, Leah Jackson. Great throw in as the Viking comes around the side. Looks like that was Sanders, but gets taken out by the Wolf. Vikings trying to get through, but stopped by the Wolves. Now in open field, there's Gracie Boutros, though. Kicks long and collected by Saunders. Shill kick and collision between Leah Jackson and the number 14, Luciana Bedoya. Ball goes back over, though, and Lockerbie tries to get in. Instead, it's Strumfield who can't block the clear. Johnson is being chased by a Viking and is having a tough time. There's Mariah Eady now putting pressure. And, uh-oh, that could have been scary. Oh, my goodness. Great save there by Moncera after deflecting off her body. She does collect it and does slow down play. Going long along that sideline, rather. And goes out of bounds. Thrown in again. And Saifu hits into the Wolf, goes out of bounds. Going to be Viking possession. Thrown in with a lot of power. And it's number 21, Nora Graham, tries to get her feet on it, rolls out of bounds. Another strong throw in. This time the Wolves take it in the pitch. Backtracking a little bit, maybe a little bit too far. Luckily, Angelina Lee can stop it. There goes number 20, Slag, the senior. And got a Viking now on the far side trying to break through. She does. Crosses in and collected. Ball goes long to about the 50-yard line, headed by Gracie Boutros. And Wolves almost breaking through. Luckily, Layla Vulik there, making some big moves. And Addison Lockerbie having some conflict there with Angelina Lee. Lee will go down, and the Wolves will set up a kick. Clock will be stopped. And got a Viking on the ground. She will get up, though. And will come off of the field. Unfortunately, I believe that's number 2, Manzanares, who has been putting a lot of great pressure in the backcourt. Great defender. And, although the Vikings are up 4-0, it is still so unfortunate to see her come out. Got some subs now for the Vikings. Out comes Bettina Strumfield. Got some new faces on the pitch, looks like. Well, one face isn't new. I see Brianna Tatar coming back on. She's been one of the, strongest players here. Setting up plays, feeding her teammates, and applying a lot of pressure against the Wolves, keeping the score, or their score at least, 0. Play resumes. Goes long into the box and taken out. Tatar putting backward pressure. And Wolves now trying to get it through. Stopped by the Vikings, but back to number 9, Allison Tanner. Lee now coming along the side. gets through to a Wolf. That was number 8, Samara Cusco. But the Wolves will be restrained. Wolf on the far side now. Kicks in and stopped by Layla Vulik. What a fantastic defense. Deflected and cleared now. Picked up by a Wolf, and in comes Kisby. Her kick does get collected, though, by the Viking keeper, Ashley Mancera. Her kick goes high, and Lauren Saifu tries to get in. However, the Wolves have possession now. That's the number 15, Megan Hennessy. She's new on the pitch. Goes out of bounds, though. Vikings have a new face on the pitch as well. You got number 12, Anna Kim, a sophomore. She just made that inbound toss. Popped up. Looks like the target was Tatar, but the Wolves putting some immense pressure on Saifu, who now has it. She tries to clear it, but Hennessy in the way. Layla Vulik, luckily, great on defense. She makes the stop. It does go back to the Wolves, though. Trying to come around, backtracks, and gets chipped up. Had Mariah try to clear it out, but whiffs. Luckily, does go out of bounds, and the play is reset. Not out of bounds, sorry. Keeper has the ball. She cleared it and gets it to the Viking. That was Leah Jackson to Saifu. Tanner now back to the number 14, Luciana Bedoya. And a header by 8, Samara Cusco. Tanner facing pressure. Oh my goodness, from Tatar. She might be able to break away. Looks to her left and tries to cross into Lockerbie. Making room and has possession now. Slows it down to Tatar, and you got an offsides call. This was an issue we were seeing with the Vikings in the first half. Now becoming an issue again late into the second. Luckily for them, they don't really need to score at this point. Always an unfortunate call. Kicked out by Michaela Saunders into Saifu, though, at midfield. Rolls out of bounds, and going to get number 12, Angelina Lee, on the inbound. Finds a Viking, however. That's Gracie Boutros, but is stopped by Megan Hennessy. Ball is taken down and goes out of bounds off the Viking. Looks like that is Yamara. Okay, we got another Wolves throw in here to number 8, Samara Cusco. And the Wolf falls to the ground. Now in the final 5 minutes of the match, your Niles North Vikings are up 4 to the Wolves 0. Looking pretty good for them right now. It would take a miracle for the Wolves to come back at this point, but I'm not saying it's impossible. Wolves will set up the play. And deflected off of, looks like the number 11, Yamara. There's Lockerbie cutting across the pitch. Over to Giselle Slag along the sideline. Great pressure there from Lee, and Kisby lets Lee take over. Goes over to the Vikings' Boutros, and an attempt to Slag goes over to the number 15, Hennessy of the Wolves. There's Tanner into a Wolf in the midfield, and cleared by Kisby. Malia Johnson finds it, though. She's making Some fast moves. It is stopped by Vulik, who tries to clear it but is denied by the number 8, Samara Cusco. Megan Hennessy is stopped by Lauren Saifu. Yeah, number 14, Luciana Bedoya making some moves as well. However, we got a whistle here on the field. Emily Kispy will make a kick here. Line moves up. Got some more space behind in the box. Three more minutes as the kick goes up and caught by the keeper, Ashley Mancera. Mancera now looking for the Vikings to go further up. Tries to get Tatar, but goes long, and the Wolves in possession. There's Kispy. Tatar breaking through, though, against 2 Wolves, and oh my goodness, knocking through everybody. There's Angelina Lee trying to clear it. Instead, knocks Tatar in the back of the head, and there's Slag along the sideline. Knocked out of bounds. Was it off of a Wolves foot, though? I don't know, but we do have a clock stoppage for substitution here. There's number 3 for the Vikings. Anela Fernando, the freshman. And, you know, I'm just noticing now this team has a very young core. You know, they are graduating 9 seniors, I believe. But still got some fantastic younger players who see a lot of time. Leah Jackson has been in the entire time. She's a sophomore. Lauren Saifu, she's a sophomore. She has control of the ball right now. And now we're getting some of these freshmen in who, you know, are, you know, trying to make an impact. Right now there's Fernando, you know, putting great pressure on number 12, Angelina Lee, in the corner. Got 2 more minutes left here. And keeper will take it. Goes long, stopped by Lockerbie, and she is fast. She tries to cut past the defender, crosses into the box, and header by Tatar. No good. She falls to the ground. And looks like it'll be a cramp. Clock stopped at 1 minute 27 seconds. And taking an awfully long time to stretch the legs, there's Dennis Makis, one of our athletic trainers, approaching. Both teams conferring during this stoppage. Wolves are going to break, though. Vikings now come together, though. And Brianna Tatar will come up. Again, impressive to face something like that. onto the field and just get up, 1-2 minutes later. Definitely a painful experience, but again, just fantastic to see. Got 1 minute 27 remaining in the match. Vikings up 4, Wolves with none. And play resumes with the goalie kick. Goes past everybody and finds Boutros in the back. Kicked back to the defender, or I'm sorry, the keeper. And there's Saunders. Vikings now have control at midfield, but lose it. It looks like Kispy of the Wolves. There's Fernando, though, taking it along the sideline. But good pressure by number 8, Samara Cusco of the Wolves. Headed by Hennessy and out of bounds. I think that was kicked out by Cusco. It was, and so it'll be number 12 for the Vikings. Anna Kim throwing it in. There's Saifu now backtracking. All the way back to new on the pitch, number 41, Alina Ramirez. Vulik breaking through. And that's one of the big, offensive moments we've seen. Usually she's in the back defending, as she's trying to get to right now. Is caught, though, by Mancera. And she'll clear it. Goes pretty long to the 35-yard line where it does roll out of bounds. And time expires as your Niles North Vikings beat the Niles West Wolves 4-0 in the Girls Soccer Crosstown Classic. Got a hat trick from Addison Lockerbie. And, of course, that free kick from Lauren Saifu to seal the deal here. 4-0, the Vikings win. And what a fantastic game. The Vikings are used to getting on big offensive, victories and starts. That's not what happened here in this game. The Wolves putting great pressure on defense, immobilizing the Vikings for at least the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the half. However, Lockerbie comes in, gets that first goal, and gets the momentum going. And, I had mentioned at the beginning of this half that there might be issues with the Vikings in terms of endurance. They're not used to having a fight for a game like that so far into the game. But as they showed, 2 goals in the second half, they were not done. They had more to show. And that, of course, led to their 4-0 victory in the Crosstown Classic. Everyone fist bumping the refs, being friendly with each other, trying to, not doing a very good job of hiding their excitement. And you see our athletic director, Brett Bilstein, holding the trophy for this matchup. He will be presenting it to the Vikings shortly.